In a cozy little town nestled among rolling green hills, the streets were buzzing with excitement. It felt like the whole village had come out to see Jesus. Laughter and chatter filled the air as everyone gathered around, their faces bright with wonder. But through the happy crowd pushed a man named Jairus. His face was filled with worry, and his eyes were wide with fear. He was a very important man in the town, but right now, he was just a dad whose little girl was very, very sick. He knelt before Jesus, his voice trembling as he pleaded, "Please, Jesus, my daughter is so ill. Please come and place your hands on her so she will be healed and live." Jesus looked at Jairus with kind, gentle eyes, nodded, and immediately started to walk with him. The crowd followed, a sea of people moving through the dusty streets, all wanting to be close to Jesus. As they made their way through the bustling town, a woman stood at the very edge of the crowd. Her name isn't mentioned in the stories, but her heart was full of hope. For 12 long years, she had been sick. Imagine being sick for 12 whole years. She had been to so many doctors, spending every last coin she had, but none of them could make her better. She was weak and tired, but when she heard Jesus was nearby, a little spark of hope ignited within her. She watched him from afar, his kind face shining in the sun. She had heard stories of the amazing things he had done, how he healed people with just a word or a touch. Her eyes filled with a deep, powerful faith. She didn't want to bother him, not when he was already on his way to help someone else. But she just knew, deep in her heart, that he could help her too. With a deep breath, the woman decided she had to try. She started to push her way into the crowd. It was so thick with people, everyone bumping and shuffling, their voices a constant murmur. It was hard to move, like trying to swim through a forest of grown-ups. But she was determined. With every step, she kept her eyes fixed on Jesus, who was just a little way ahead. She wasn't tall or strong, but her faith gave her a special kind of strength. She whispered to herself, over and over again like a secret song, "If I can just touch his clothes, I know I will be healed. Just one little touch is all I need." She squeezed past a tall man, ducked under someone's arm, and got closer and closer, until she was right behind him. The hem of his long, flowing robe swayed just within her reach. Her heart was pounding like a drum. This was it. It was a moment of quiet courage, a brave little secret just for her. Nobody else knew what she was about to do. She reached out her trembling hand, her fingers stretching until she touched it, just the very edge, the fringe on his robe. It was just a soft piece of cloth, but the moment her fingertips made contact, something incredible happened. It was like a warm, golden light filled her up from her toes to the top of her head. Instantly, she felt the sickness, the weakness that had been her companion for 12 long years, just melt away. Strength flowed back into her body. She stood up straight, feeling brand new, feeling whole for the first time in forever. The constant ache was gone, replaced by a wonderful feeling of peace and wellness. She had been healed. Right at that exact moment, Jesus stopped walking. He turned around, his eyes scanning the packed crowd. His disciples, the friends who were always with him, looked puzzled. The crowd was so tight, everyone was touching everyone. But Jesus knew this touch was different. He asked, in a clear voice that cut through the noise, "Who touched my clothes?" His disciples looked at each other, confused. One of them said, "Master, you see the people crowding and pressing against you, and yet you can ask, 'Who touched me?'" They didn't understand, but Jesus kept looking, his gaze searching for the one person whose touch was not an accident, but an act of incredible faith. He knew that power had gone out from him to heal someone special. Seeing Jesus looking for her, the woman's heart did a little flip-flop. She was a little scared, but she also felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. She knew she had to tell him what happened. Slowly, trembling but no longer from sickness, she came forward. She pushed through the last few people separating them and fell right at his feet. With tears of joy streaming down her face, She looked up at him and told him everything. She told him about the 12 long years of being sick, about the doctors who couldn't help, and about the secret hope she had in her heart. She told him how she believed that if she could only touch the edge of his robe, she would be made well. She told him the whole truth, holding nothing back. The crowd grew quiet, listening to her amazing story. When she finished, Jesus didn't look upset at all. Instead, he smiled the kindest, most loving smile she had ever seen. It was a smile that warmed her all the way through. He knelt down and gently said, "Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be freed from your suffering." He called her daughter, like she was part of his very own family. The fear she felt completely vanished, replaced by a pure, bubbling joy. She knew she was not just healed in her body, but in her heart too. She got up, her spirit feeling as light as a feather, and walked away from the crowd with a happy, grateful heart, ready to start her new life. And Jesus, he turned and continued on his journey to Jairus' house, ready to show his love and perform another miracle for the little girl who was waiting. His love was big enough for everyone, for the important man and the quiet woman, for anyone who reached out to him with faith. And that's a wonderful thought to fall asleep to, isn't it? Good night.